10 years ago, world powers agreed to a landmark Iran nuclear deal called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, that gave Iran sweeping UN sanctions relief in exchange for Tehran's commitment to a peaceful nuclear program. But now European powers, France, the UK, and Germany, known collectively as the E3, are pulling back, enacting a so-called snapback mechanism that will trigger reimposing those sanctions. They include an arms embargo, restrictions on missile development, asset freezes, and travel bans for senior Iranian officials. The E3 announced their decision in a letter to the UN Security Council that reads in part, they believe Iran to be in significant non-performance of its commitments under the JCPOA and hereby invoke the process known as the snapback mechanism. Iran's actions stand in stark contrast to an exclusively peaceful use of its nuclear energy. Iran's accumulation of 60% highly enriched uranium has no credible civilian justification. But Russia blasted the move by the E3, calling it illegal.
We believe that the move by E3 cannot and should not entail any legal or procedural effect. It's a mere escalatory step. It's something that is absolutely showing that the Western countries do not know what is diplomacy about. They don't care about diplomacy. They care only about blackmail and threats and coercion of independent countries.
The sanctions won't go into effect immediately. There is a 30-day waiting period before they kick in. So there is time for diplomacy to prevail.
In the next 30 days, there is a window of opportunity to avoid any further escalation and find a way forward that serves peace. The Secretary General welcomes any efforts to that end.
The Europeans say the snapback is intended to put pressure on Tehran to return to the negotiating table, something critics question.
Demanding that the Iranians come back to the negotiating table is a reasonable request on the surface, but one has to take into account the Iranians were at the negotiating table. Israel and the United States blew up the negotiating table. To make a demand for the Iranians to come back without making a demand that Israel and the United States should not be bombing the Iranians while negotiations are taking place simply cannot be seen as a serious demand. And it seems to be designed to be rejected.
Russia and China on Thursday proposed a Security Council draft resolution that would extend the sanctions relief another 6 months to allow for more diplomacy. But sources tell Al Jazeera if that is put to a vote, it most certainly would be vetoed in the Council by either France, the UK, or the United States. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera at the United Nations in New York.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.